working mindfully is a lot like living mindfully. And essentially, what that means is that we're paying attention both in a focused way at work that might be on task or objectives or responsibilities, but we're also paying attention in a more spacious way. So we're looking at what we're doing, but we're looking at how we're doing it. And we're giving equal value to both what we do and how we do it, whether that's in our life or in our work. I think it's important to highlight that at work we may have to get there intentionally because often people leave the better part of themselves outside of work. And so, of course, our job, and you know that because it's yours as well, is to help people come to work in a more wholehearted fashion and not to forget that the way they work is the way they live. Work is their life. It's not all of their life, but it's an aspect of life where we give the better part of our energy, the better hours of our day, and it's a wonderful arena to develop and cultivate qualities that enhance our lives in all ways. Some of it is learning how to be real and how to be present and how to be available and how to be whole. In other words, how to be real to ourselves and how to have access to who we really are. It's not about exposing ourselves. It's not about talking about ourselves. It's not about sharing personal or intimate details. That's not what creates relationship. That's story. That's something a little bit different. What creates relationship is the awareness that nothing happens alone, and certainly not in organizations, which by definition have the objective of bringing together many kinds of people and more diverse populations today with different skill sets and different backgrounds who all come to work to succeed and none of whom can succeed alone. So the foundation for success at work really is the way we relate to our work and the way we relate to the people that we interface with in doing that work and getting that work done. And I don't think it's the work that makes us happy. I think it's the way we work that can support our happiness. At Mindful Life, Mindful Work, what we do when we come together is the first thing we do is we come back to ourselves. So before we engage, before we relate to each other, we connect back into ourselves. And we do it very simply. We just take a few minutes, offer a space where we can let go of the agenda, let go of what we were doing before, or thinking about what we'll be doing later, let go of what we've come together to do, and first establish availability by connecting to ourselves, a couple of deep breaths, a moment of silence, so that when we come together, we really are people coming together with a greater space of presence and availability, essentially. Teams that develop mindful ways of working, right? Are teams that see that there is no individual success. There is only individuals succeeding in a collective dynamic. We're the greater good, and that collective success is the broader framework. What makes teams mindful is having mindful individuals. So, what are mindful individuals? Mindful individuals are people who have learned to suspend judgment, to stay open and curious, to realize that we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. So, ultimately, what we are reacting to are things about ourselves that we are more or less comfortable with. So it's helping individuals become more aware of where they are in their own self-awareness and self-acceptance, and then learn to take I think, an unbridled, genuine interest in the success and well-being of the other members on the team because it's the sum of those individual successes which creates that collective success. That what am I actually bringing into the world? And what am I keeping to myself? And how could I see that as a more fluid interaction between who I am as a person in my deeper inner self? How could I bring more of that into the way I show up at work and my relationships? And how could I allow work to inform me in my deeper person?